can't even see my head. What is the point? Half my head is gonna have to be cut. This is so much more up close and personal than I am comfortable with. But, you know, I'm going to have to deal with not being able to show off my perfect hair. So me being a genius thought that it would be fantastic to film this during golden hour because it's been a sunny day. Now it's grey. It's only 5 p.m. and it's really grey. In June. I also found my old Elena necklace, which my friend Charlie gave me. So there's a bit of an Elena / Catherine vibe going on. I was stranded abroad, if anyone cares. Not anymore. Hell, I am on 6%. What were we doing? Ah, icy hack. Now the things that we must finish off by winter term, having booked all the rooms, getting permission as well as guidance on, you know, whether we can hold these activities and how we can safely do it. Now getting guidance on stuff we can and can't do is very, very important because we need to make sure that the things that we're promising our sponsors are doable. Like we can't promise them a pool party unless Christmas break. Make sure you are contacting potential sponsors, sending out all these emails, making sure you get the communications going. Make sure your email game is strong, it is fierce and soft at the same time, if you know what I mean. Also on guidance, we need to make sure that our branding is on point right from the beginning. Picking a font for the numbers because there is an official guide. We only found out after we made everything. Ale, why do you do this? Making sure that the font is correct for the numbers and making sure that the color you have picked is available and it's going to look the same across every screen. Making sure you hold the IC Hack meeting so that you have a bunch of team leads who are ready and raring to go and, you know, just really crazy about setting stuff up for IC Hack. And lastly, filling out the event budget for IC Hack. Now let's get stuck into what it was actually like. It is what it is, you know? I wish I could say that I spent my Christmas break being wonderfully productive on our group project as well as IC Hack. You know, just making sure things were getting done and that, you know, if anyone needed help with any transactions and things, just making sure that that's all going smoothly. However, I didn't have this luxury because I was hit with a bunch of different things. I was going through a bit of a depressive episode. On top of that, seasonal depression, you know, because I hadn't seen the sun for 6 months. I'd just been dumped. I got hit with a really nasty flu and I was burnt out, my dude. I was fully done with everything. Like, it got to a point where I was so ready to quit because DocSoc was just taking over my life. I was basically running DocSoc at such a large extent that was beyond my role. I'm the kind of person who likes to help people, but at the cost of it consuming myself. That's why I was feeling incredibly burnt out, very, very sick and tired of just doing everything basically. So then I was like, you know what, I need to like take some time out for myself. And that's what I did. You know, I took care of myself for once. I started resting up because, again, I had a really bad flu. So any time that I spent awake and pretty much lucid, I was working on our group project because that was more pending than an IC Hack transaction that could happen a week or two later. I would like to stress again how important it is to take care of yourself. It's a mammoth-sized event and you're holding this whilst students are organizing. And students have work to do. You know, even if you're volunteering, even if you're a team lead, dude, take care of yourself. If you feel like you're getting close to mental breakdown, I had several throughout this process, but bear with me. If you feel like you've had enough, tell someone so that you don't just abandon your duties like I did. very mistakenly. You can delegate your duties whilst you take that time off because, you know, in the end, if anyone's going to care about you, it's going to be yourself. Which is why it's so important you are aware of your health, you are aware of your well-being, and take that fucking time out. If you recall, in the last video, I had submitted the event budget a few days after term had ended. So our event budget got approved today, which means we can start buying things. Because term's starting soon, we have our first meeting in 5 or 6 days or something. And that's when the ball really gets rolling for IC Hack. When we say the ball gets rolling, I mean 0 to 100 in under 10 seconds. After the first meeting, everyone just has this simultaneous moment of, oh shit, we should have done this. Oh shit, we need to do this. Oh shit, this is still due. That's when things start to get into gear because everyone gets their ass in the driving seat, seatbelt buckled up, gear shifted into first, step on the gas. It's gonna take 2 weeks at least for everyone to be up in the machine, for everyone to be the cog that they need to be to get this all formulated. We had our first meeting and once again we re-established what the tasks were that were needed to be doing, and this time we actually set a few deadlines for these tasks so that people knew that, you know, it's go time. It's go time, mother. This meeting was also the first time that we had all the team leads and the organizers just in one room since term had started, and everyone was just getting refreshed and getting back to terms with being at uni and stuff like that. Now, speaking of meetings, the most important meeting that is going to take place during this time, i.e. the first 2 weeks back, is the judging and prizes meeting. Oh yeah, baby. We're getting in on this. We're getting it.
Are you gonna win this prize?
Yes. Now, this year I decided, you know, we're gonna have a specific person on this and they're gonna have to get the ball rolling from the get-go because, honey, in previous years it's always been a last-minute ditch, which it will be again this year, as you will see. And judging has always had to be something that we had to somehow fix at the end because there were always like ties and stuff, and like 4-way ties, 3-way ties, and like figuring out how to break them, figuring out how to like evenly distribute people within like the categories and stuff. And even then, some of the categories just looked really weird, like best hardware hack? Who? This is very cumbersome and also just incredibly ambiguous as to whatever these categories were. Which is why when it came to the judging and prizes meeting, that was actually one of the first things that was brought up, which I thought was a really good point to tackle. That's something that we hadn't changed for, I think, 2 years. So, you know, it needed a bit of a refresh. We were thinking, okay, instead of doing a best hardware hack, best native app, best web app, let's have it based on the category that the application or the hack falls into. Things that had concrete but also distinct categories so that people knew which hack it could fall into. That was the whole idea, that people knew what category their hack could fall into because the categories were so distinct. I'm on 4%, we about to die. In the end, the prize categories that we decided on were best educational hack, newcomers, smart home or IoT, entertainment, and community. We also had a few meme prizes, as we always do, including the karaoke prize and the dankest meme prize. I'm not sure if I should be saying this, but we also had a Unfortunately, we couldn't get that to come into fruition. Sad. But it's fine because it might be used in future years, so keep that in mind. Apart from our prize categories, some of our sponsors had their own prize categories that people could also enter. We didn't actually know what the sponsors' prizes would be. Only 2 of them told us what the prizes, like their prizes, were going to be. Now, using the limited knowledge of what some of our sponsors told us about their prizes, we started picking prizes for each of the categories based on how relevant we think the prize was to the category. You can actually go to our closing ceremony to see what each of the prizes were. Now, one of the fabulous traditions about IC Hack winners is that they get sent home with a Queen's Tower trophy, either in big or like in small size. So if you're a runner-up, you get a small size, and if you're a winner, you get a big one. Every year they come out looking gorgeous. We try and get them matched with the color that we're going for that year. So this year it was sea green, and obviously the statues were also sea green. I'm on 2%. Overall, the first 2 weeks back are just a bunch of setup, a lot of catch up, and getting to grips with being on a team and working together, settling differences when it comes to things like this. Oh boy. Speaking of differences, when it came to the prizes, we were going to get Switches, but they were sold out of the UK. None of the stores had them. And the ones that did, so like Currys and Argos, were selling them for like the full retail price. And I was like, nope, this too expensive. The other people in the meeting were like, yo, Andy, let's just get the Switch Lite, it's fine. I was like, oh, no way, who wants a Switch Lite? In the end, we ended up getting the Switch Lites because there was no way we could afford the Switches. By now, we should have a title sponsor that is ready, because without a title sponsor, we can't get the swag printed, and without the swag printed by a certain time frame, we can't get them delivered. Boy, that's the bottle story. We will get to the bottle fiasco soon. Things need to be done early so that other things can be done, because it's all like a domino, right? Like, now you see, we've gotten the boring admin stuff out of the way. I promise you, from episode 3, it's actually going to be a lot more dynamic. I'll catch you in the next episode. Take care. See ya.